Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the last game of day one in the Olympic Sevens. New Zealand versus South Africa. We started with a bang with Australia versus Samoa, and now New Zealand, South Africa going to be the game to close us out on day one. Looking through at the starting lineups. First of all, for New Zealand, it will be Scott Curry, Dylan Collier, Naroi McGarvey-Black, Fehi Finina-Norfo, Andrew Newstub, Moses Leo, and Leroy Carter. So going with quite a bit of experience in that starting lineup here, New Zealand. They have decided to go with Akulia Rokalisoa off the bench, even though he had quite the performance up against the Japanese last game. Christy Grobler, the starting man in the South African starting side. Ryan Oosterhuizen, Zane David. So once again going with that size in this Blitzboks team. Kua Nokia, Tristan Lades, Selvin Davids, and Shilton van Veek. So no changes for South Africa, whereas New Zealand, I believe they've made about 3 or 4 changes compared to what we saw in the game up against Japan. Now, Ireland, they were able to beat the South African side. So I believe the reason they've gone with the same team is to try and develop that chemistry and try their absolute best to right those wrongs from that last performance, which unfortunately one of the main ones was just possession. They couldn't get their hands on the ball for long enough. They spent pretty much the whole of the first half defending, just to have Ireland eventually break through and get themselves the try at the end. New Zealand, they had a very different experience up against Japan, although they did concede an early try, plus they tried to get a couple more tries late for their points differential, and it ended up costing them the last minute try as well. Hi, mate, it says Lave Sup, says Pokey King. And there, and hi, Hamish, hope you're well, says Bruce. Let's go South Africa, says LFG there. Hello, Hamish, working hard again, says Ruth. Yeah, this is going to be an entertaining game. A great way to finish off day one of the Sevens. Now, of course, there are plenty more games taking place on day two. We are going to be covering them on the channel. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But this game only about 2 minutes away from starting. It's going to be a massive one, like I said. But I would love to know your score predictions, so be sure to put them in the chat as well. It is being played at Stade de France in front of around 69,000 people. And I think it was Kevon Williams said before, in the environment side of things, it is pretty much what they experienced in Cape Town in around 2017. But since then, there hasn't been an atmosphere that has been the same as what they have had for this Olympic Games. Samoa 15's going well, says Lave. How come the losing sides get 1 point no matter the score? Says Slave Bloomer. See, I always thought that it was you got 1 point for being within 7. But I could be wrong there. Maybe you do just get 1 point no matter what, so that teams don't look poor on 0. I guess that would be the best way of looking at it. But points differential going to be so crucial as we head throughout this competition, which is why whoever loses this game will only want to lose it by the thinnest of margins. I'm going to keep my eyes open till the end, says Ruth. And also we have got there 25-15, South Africa to win, Blitzboks by 10. So actually the same score prediction there, and I hope Ireland and New Zealand go through, says Connor. But there is a chance that 3 sides from this group can advance in the competition. They are also going to have the 2 best third-place teams move through to the next stage of the comp. So even if you lose this game for either of these sides, I will mention, though, if South Africa lose this one, that may be a little bit too much of a mountain to climb for the Blitzboks, the amount of time remaining in the competition. But they still have Japan, and I feel like that should be a big game where the Blitzboks can really increase that points differential. I hope it's an exciting and close game, says Hillary, and I hope South Africa go through, says LFG, and 25-12 in favour of New Zealand as Ruth's prediction. But it looks like South Africa have quite a fan base in France for this contest. Of course, it was not too long ago that the rugby union side, the Springboks, won themselves the World Cup at this exact same stadium. And the Blitzboks channel some of that inner champion and get themselves the gold medal at the Olympics. Krobela, Oosterhuizen, and Davids, the big forwards in the side. Kua Nokia, Tristan Lays, Shilton van Veek, and also Selvin Davids, the rest of the starting lineup. We have there Japan got a point. They lost 40-5 to Ireland. So yeah, it must be no matter what, you give the sides 1 point if they do lose without a bonus point. We have there's no bonus point for losing by 7, but you get a point for losing, says Johan. So yeah, it's a little bit weird, but I guess if that's the way that the Olympic ruling is, then you just have to make sure that you're winning. And if you're not winning, I guess having a close points differential could be just as crucial as if you were to receive that extra bonus point. But looking through our New Zealand starting side, it is Scott Curry, Dylan Collier, Naroi McGarvey-Black, Fihi Finina-Norfo, Moses Leo, Leroy Carter, and also Andrew Newstub. So a lot of talent out there on the field for both of these sides. South Africa 21, New Zealand 10. And let's go, the boys in black, says Ruth and Japan got the point. And New Zealand 14, South Africa with the 5. Which AB would you have in the 7 squad, bro? Says Charles Buckley. I mean, Artie Savia, he actually was an ex-Sevens man. The Ioane brothers, they came from Sevens. Caleb Clark, he tried his luck at Sevens last Olympics. He came as an injury cover, never got a game, and then missed out on the All Black selection for about 2 years afterwards. So I don't know whether or not he'd regret that decision. Of course, the Olympics environment is something that you just can't feel anywhere else. But Selvin David's about to kick this one off. But to answer your question, I feel like Mark Talia would be better at Sevens than he is at Union. Defensively, no, never mind. You need someone who can tackle. Now kicked off by Selvin Davids, nicely taken by Narohi McGarvey-Black. New Zealand have the ball inside of their 22. They'll try and play this one out from their own territory. Nice attack and run from Moses Leo. Now, something South Africa did extremely well in their last contest was their tackling. They hardly missed a tackle. There's an injury here for Kua Nokia. I'm not sure what it is. It looks like some sort of arm injury here for the South Africans. Big shot coming in from Zane Davis. They're going to stop this game to make sure that he is all right. Let's go, the Springboks. Says LFG. I do think we South Africa is not up to the standard. True says it was this LaRue. So what does he do? He ends up... I'm not sure what he does here. Oh, I think it was maybe the boot of Moses Leo. Might have come through and maybe got the stud to the chin. I think it was his teammate, though, that got him with it. But New Zealand decided they were all right with the stop here, and Ruben Keane, the referee, says that was the best thing to do. It looks like it's actually his shoulder here. Kua Nokia just in the tackle attempt. Looks like he will be making his way from the field. That is bad news for South Africa. He is such a talented young player. South Africa is going to win this one. Says Sun there. And also we've got to hope the Box can win. So nervous, feel like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Says Bruce. I feel like that's a reference that's a little bit older than myself. And I'll be honest, I have no idea what it means. But, yes. I love the Talia hatred from Hamish. It wasn't hatred. It was just, I realised halfway through saying it, yes, he's good at attack, but you need someone who can also defend. That's beautiful work from New Zealand. Tristan Lades, little flick out the back door from the Kiwis. They will go towards the corner, but Newstub is going to be tackled. And the steal and the breakdown was almost good for the South Africans, but they just can't quite get the possession. Quick hands from Scott Curry, who was nailed in the tackle by Roscoe Speckman, I believe it was. But New Zealand score it with Moses Leo 1 minute into the contest. Is that Lades released to the bot guy? Related to the bot guy? I think so. I think he's a son or a nephew of Dylan and... Who's the other one? Dylan Lades and the other one. South Africa Sevens not the same anymore, says Mivaleni, and not quite the start to the match that they would have been after. They've already experienced an injury, and now they have ended up with also the try being conceded early on in the match. Now, why Moses Leo, just no one really managing to stop him until Oosthuizen tried to make the tackle, but he was already too far over the try line. New Zealand now 5-0 up with a kick to come. For South Africa, they have to try and stop this momentum because Ireland, like I mentioned, they did a lot of defending throughout that first half in that South Africa versus Ireland game, but Ireland weren't really able to bust through for about 6 or so minutes. This is the Olympic game, says Rudy. That is correct, yes. We have got there, Tristan Lades is the younger brother of Dylan Lades. And who's Dylan's other brother? There's Dylan and there's the other one, who I still can't think of. One of them played for La Rochelle. One of them spent a bit more time playing in South Africa, I think. Nice run from Tristan Lades. The split spot used to be good a while ago, lol. Says annoyed, but that is going to be the penalty to New Zealand, not releasing from the South Africans. If they lose heavily here, there is a chance that they will not be able to recover in their game up against the Japanese, and they would be out of the Olympic Games. They only just qualified recently up against Great Britain. That's great work in the breakdown, though, from Shilton van Wyk. And Tristan Lades decides to take the tap quickly, finding a bit of a gap. Getting the offload. It's the same Lades. Says Kalitsa. Is there only one Lades? I'm sure there were two brothers. What happened to his other brother? No, he's not another, or there's not another one. Oh, he just duplicated. Now, nice run out wide. Selvin Davids gets in for South Africa, and they will be back into the contest. Now, New Zealand did miss their kick. We have got there. Come on, New Zealand, let's go. We have got there. Hamish is still fabulous. Never stops. The Blitzboks used to be good a while ago. Says Hanoi there. But Selvin Davids gets the try, and that is the danger of the Blitzboks. They can defend for 5 minutes, but they need 30 seconds or less, and they're back into a contest, and that is exactly what we have seen here from the South Africans. But to wait and see exactly how this one does progress as we move towards halfway. Hang on. What's going on here? I hear a referee saying, is he coming? Not sure what they're talking about there. There are two Lades, Dylan and Tristan. There is no third Lades. Says Grant into the Blitzboks missed the kick. They did. Right, Scott Curry's going off for a head injury assessment. And Lades exciting to watch him play. Says Hillary. He's smiling about it, Scott Curry. Maybe it's the mouth guards. I know that they do have those fancy ones now, but he's just chilling. He was asking questions as he was making his way off. He's going to go for the HIA, and he's going to ask the person who's doing the head assessment the questions. 3 minutes remaining in this first half. Tony Nashu will make his way on. I've learned about the Lades family today, says Hanoi. And we're doing the whole family tree for the Lades fam. Now nicely taken by Andrew Newstub. New Zealand are inside of their 22, and they are still equal in this game, 5-5. Tony Nashu. Attack and run. Now, Roy McGarvey Black plays halfback. Goes to Carter. Now, New Zealand still inside of their own half. But an opportunity for Finina Norfo, who's got power and an offloading game. But South Africa, 3 defenders having to make that tackle. Did Fiji win over USA? They did. They had one of the best halves of Rugby Sevens we have seen in a long time. We have got there Fiji smashing USA. We have got there as well. Ireland beat us in the third test earlier, 10-5. They officially take the series, says Mikkel there. I'm sure a lot of people would be very annoyed with that logic. We have got there, I've been blocked. No idea why, kind of funny. Reply to a comment, I could not see his reply. If you've been blocked though, I feel like it's not one to overthink, because you have been trying to debunk it for about 3 months. But like, I don't know, maybe you said something at one point and he was like, you know what, I'll have to block you. I haven't heard anything of it. But I wouldn't lose sleep over it, is the best way to look at it. But currently 90 seconds remaining in this first half. South Africa going to win, says Dalton. And another fun Lades fact, Dylan Lades first went for the Western Force and then returned to the Stormers. Says Grant. Well, there you go. Now this one is going to be fed in by Selvin Davids. Possession at the moment for the South Africans. They are just inside of New Zealand's half, and a big shot coming in. Leroy Carter gets the clean turnover. Tristan Lades. Believe he has to release that and get out of there. Ryan Uste. Yep, that's a penalty to New Zealand. I feel like it was more of the question of how many things did Ruben Keane want to penalise South Africa for in that last breakdown. Dylan Collier with the inside flick pass. New Zealand inside of their half now. So Lades could be in the Wallabies if he stayed. That's an interesting point. I guess so. Nice ball from Naroi McGarvey Black. Leroy Carter, another offload. Brilliant hands from New Zealand. And they will score it in the corner right near the end of the first half. Naroi McGarvey Black, he looks like he's got a sore shoulder here. Normally does a bit of a celebration, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to raise his arm to be able to do so. I'm not sure whether or not it was in the try scoring motion that he ends up hurting it, or whether it was something that was a bit earlier on. But just great work from Andrew Newstub to end up right place, right time. And boom, Carter doing well. And beautiful pass to New Zealand, says Lilia B. And goes South Africa, says Dalton there as well. But we are just hearing the halftime siren. I believe New Zealand will still have to kick this one off rather than heading straight into halftime. Hey man, I'm back. Who scored first? In the end, it was New Zealand. Got themselves the first try in this contest, quickly followed by the return try from South Africa. Good morning, says Shadow Hunter. Welcome in. If you are doing well, of course, we will have a few more New Zealand viewers for this game, seeing as it is now the morning here in New Zealand. That's going to be slapped down by New Zealand. I believe it was a knock-on. Here comes Roscoe Speckman. He's got a lot of pace. And he's going to drift across Little Chip and behind. Davids can't regather. And that is going to be half-time in this contest now. 10 points to 5. And Dylan Sage, the former Blitzboks, was with Lades at the Force. Says Grant there. And those ball skills by the AB Sevens could start New Zealand. And good morning, Hamish. Have a good day. Go New Zealand. Says Shadow Hunter there as well. But half-time in this contest. Only 5 points splitting these two teams at the moment. It's anyone's game for the second 7 minutes. South Africa, if they can get that little bit more possession and that discipline in the breakdown, those are the two big things that if they can get that right in the second half, they have more than the capabilities of being able to win this game for New Zealand. They just have to make sure that the defence is solid. Can't afford to allow South Africa to break your line, or else then that is normally when they are at their most dangerous. And just keeping that ball alive for New Zealand in terms of those offloads has been one of the keys for their first half success. But this is not the last game for these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, New Zealand will play Ireland. And tomorrow, South Africa will play Japan. South Africa need this win to have a really good shot of making it through to the next stage in the competition. Their points differential, they need it to be as close as possible here. Have the Blitzies played enough during the build-up to the Olympics? They sent a pretty much their second team to play in Mauritius a few weeks ago. Says Sean Lees. I mean, they've had more game time recently than any other side because they did have the Olympic qualification game that they did have to win. So compared to the other teams, they've actually had one more leg of playing than anyone else in recent time, other than, of course, well, it would have been Great Britain had they made their way through. So they should be prepared. They've got a great side. They've got all the talent in the world out there on the field. Something's just not quite clicking, unfortunately, for them. Blue here, why are you stalking Hanoi? Says Frank in there. Oh, yeah, good there. Not over yet. Still second half, 5-point leads isn't enough right now. And we have got there second half. Who knows what can happen? Says a roof there. Now Andrew Newstub. Oh, we hear the crowd singing. I'm not sure what song they're singing. And I don't think I understand it, as it might be in French. Yeah, no, those aren't words that I know. It's kicked off short by New Zealand. Selvin David's got a finger to it. And it is going to now be New Zealand's line out. Now, that would have been out on the full had they not gone for the catch there, South Africa. So that is an early unforced error that they did not need to make. Oh, their live stream says, Savrevateri, if you do go onto the Olympics website, you will be able to see the best options of being able to watch these games all around the world, because, of course, depending on where you are will depend on your broadcaster or broadcasting options. What happened to your suit and tie, says Hillary? It is currently hung up in the wardrobe, waiting for the next big match. Now, nicely claimed by Andrew Newstub. Leroy Carter going across to the right-hand side. Regan Ware is now on the field for the New Zealanders. I will mention Curry hasn't returned to the field, so even though he seemed like he was all there, maybe did fail VHIA in the end. Either that or they just decided maybe don't bring him back on if he has already taken a bit of a knock. That's a big run from Moses Leo. But Roscoe Speckman has taken him down around the bootlaces. The best way to stop a bulldozer from running at you. Dylan Collier now going off to the left-hand side. Here comes Tony Nashu. Almost had the chance for an offload, but he will be taken down 25 metres out from the line. Good ball retention from New Zealand. South Africa just haven't really been able to get that possession enough, and they have now got the penalty advantage. Inside ball going away to Andrew Newstub. Tackle by Lades, and it's knocked on by New Zealand. So they will go back for the penalty. Look at there. It was bread of heaven in French, says Fleshin. If you want to come watch a match in Pretoria, I'll sort the tickets and accommodation for you, mate, says Mikkel in there as well. We'll have to keep that in mind. Of course, Cape Town, we did see host the Rugby World Cup and also the under-20s, but I'm not sure what the next big one is in Cape Town or Pretoria or South Africa in general. I guess it's the New Zealand versus South Africa Rugby Championship matches, isn't it? Then I think November international South Africa head north Looks like Christy Hrubler and also Zane Davids will both make their way from the field for the Blitzboks. Low, I'm but not, but wonder why every time I said his name. Says blue here. We're now going off to the right-hand side here for New Zealand. Well handled there, and that has to be the penalty. I thought it was going to be penalty to JC Pretorius, though, but he's actually the man who has been penalised. In fact, it was Tian Pretorius rather than JC. Regan Ware with the inside ball to Tony Nashu. Still only 5 points separating these two sides. Regan Ware wide cutout pass goes to Leroy Carter. Normally a try-scoring machine, but they've done extremely well to shut him down. There's another knock-on, this time from South Africa, followed by New Zealand. Another scrum feed for the New Zealanders. We have get there from Squid. Can you not stream the Olympics? As in like showing match footage, or as in like just don't do any of the games? Squid, there's two options there. When will the AB squad be announced? It's going to be on Sunday that it is announced. And the new bot guy, Sasha, will be okay in 7, says Hanoi. I think Rusty will have pretty firm grip of that man. He won't be wanting to give him away to 7s anytime soon. Looks like Akulia Rokaliso will make his way onto the field. That is for Andrew Newstub. And we go there. Sounds like too many mistakes by South Africa. Yeah, unfortunately, like the trend has been discipline, and also alongside that has been the handling errors. Just anything. So Squid, or says Squid. So you don't want me to cover the 7s, I assume is what you're saying. We have covered the 7s since the last Olympics, fun fact. Every single leg we have done on the channel. Kulia Rokalisoa going to the right-hand side now. Good attack and run from Tony Nashu. Back across to Kulia Rokalisoa. Nice step from Carter, although he runs straight into Shilton Van Wyk. The Rocket Man is back, says El Rico there. Oh, a little bit of wrestling going on. Selvin Davis has just attacked Akulia Rokalisoa. I don't know what happened between those two, but they're having a bit of a grappling session at the moment. He had him in side control. Now, a lot of meters lost by New Zealand, but Roscoe Speckman hit him with the high tackle. No, sorry, you are not allowed to stream it, as in legally. Sadly not, due to all the licensing in New Zealand. We'll score that one in the corner. But yeah, even though it is free to air in a lot of locations, it still doesn't mean that we're allowed to show anything because we have not paid to have it free to air, if that makes sense. We have got there, let's get the H-Man to 50k. Let's subscribe, lovely people. So here's Joseph. Yeah, anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. New Zealand with Moses Leo after the wide cutout pass. I wouldn't know what caused the scrap between Selvin Davis and Akulia Rokalisoa. I know that the UFC's on this weekend, but both of them look like they were practicing the grappling beforehand. There is going to be Dracus Duplessis versus Israel Adesanya in Australia soon, so maybe they want to get on the undercard. Moses Leo's, though, celebrating that one. Akulia Rokalisoa also able to add the extra 2 points, which will now make the score 17 points to 5 in favour of New Zealand. Who won the scrap? Well, Selvin Davids was on top, but I'm not sure what started it in terms of whether or not Kulia Rokalisoa pulled guard, a bit of the old jiu-jitsu. That's another knock-on, this time from Roscoe Speckman. It's just the mistakes for South Africa. They are adding up at the moment, and they will know that if New Zealand score once more, maybe that's going to be too much for them to be able to make up. Like, they're going to have to beat Japan by, I don't even know, 40, 50, maybe, just to really confirm their spot through to the quarterfinals. And don't get me wrong, I think they could do that, but Japan seem like they're slowly getting better throughout the competition at times as it progresses. But we got the donation from Blues Nate. Thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated, Nate. Dylan Collier, I should say, making his way off the field. And that is for Scott Curry, who comes back on. So he did pass his HIA, change the score, dude. It is an online scoreboard, so I have no control over said scoreboard, unfortunately. Too many errors for the box to win this. See Sean Lees and South Africa panicking. I don't know if it's panicking. It's just something's not quite working for them. Because if they were panicking, I would have thought they would have been in a lot more breakdowns and trying to get that ball back sooner. But it seems like they're happy enough for New Zealand to attack. And they're hoping that their defence is going to be able to hold up. But so far in this game, 3 times, New Zealand have been able to break through it. But now Tony Nashu going to the short side. Tiam Pretorius trying to push him towards the sideline. Another penalty. That's not helping. Every breakdown at the moment, South Africa are getting penalised. We have got there. What does this mean now? Are the Boks out? They are not quite, but they will have to beat Japan by a substantial margin tomorrow. This looks like an injury, though, for New Zealand. Regan Weir, I think that was his very first carry of the game, and his shoulder decided that it didn't like him and wanted to detach. Like they've said, they've got medical replacements that they are allowed to use. Did the Boks win their first game? They did not. They did lose to Ireland. I think it was 10 points to 5 in the end in that contest. And they're just asking the question, do New Zealand even have anyone spare to bring onto the field? Discipline of the Boks is bad, says El Rico there. We're going to see it now for... Oh, that's a funny face that Regan Weir's had to make while he was eating Sean Williams' knee. Unfortunately, when you get hit like that, your shoulder goes one way, your head goes the other. Regan Weir in tear, says Big Boy Games. And I don't know what's going on with South Africa. If I see Christie, when he comes back, I'm going to tackle him, seeing since they're doing so bad. Says Dupree. Is that Christie Krobler? Because he's a big bloke. That would be a big tackle to make. What's Japan looking like? Can the Boks beat them by a huge margin, says Sean Lees? I think that they can. It's just whether or not we see them... I just bit my tongue if anyone's wondering what that noise was. Whether or not we see them play like they are here, or whether we see a lot of improvements. New Zealand have once again ended up with the possession. The Boks are just like... they just don't want to be there, says Fleshin. Looks like Ireland versus New Zealand for the top spot. Nice offload there. Brady Rush taking it nicely. Looking for the offloads, and everything is sticking at the moment for New Zealand. They have got numbers on the outside. Akulia Rokalisoa, only 2 meters short. Oh, he's just broken through the try. Like, the try's ruled out, sorry. I think there was a penalty for a double movement. I was going to say, he's gone through there far too easy. Japan versus South Africa will be huge. And South Africa not the same anymore, says Kwandile. Now South Africa have to make a decision, though. Do they accept a 12-0 or 12-point differential here, or do you instead end up going with one last attack and risk conceding a try? And to answer that, South Africa are going to go for an attack. They are only on their 22, though. And Ireland are through already. That is correct. It's just more of the question of will they be number 1 or will they be number 2? Now Sean Williams to throw this one in. For the points differential, it is exactly what the Blitzboks need. Here comes Selvin Davids. Roscoe Speckman offloading it back once again. Just miscommunication in that South African attacking line. Sean Williams goes off to Ryan Oosterhuizen. Tiam Pretorius. They're inside of their 22. New Zealand looking for the turnover, and they have got it. Do they go for one more? Yes, they do. Tony Nashu, it might backfire for the Blitzboks. Another advantage. Inside ball rush should have passed it, but he decided against it, but they will go back for the original penalty anyway. They do have one last crack to be able to score themselves some more points. That was against Ryan Oosterhuizen. Now 5 meters out from the line, Akulia Rokalisoa, missed pass attempt there for New Zealand. They also have to be careful not to concede here, because if you're going to go so aggressive, you're going to make sure you make the most of it. Ball is there. Beautiful pickup from Moses Leo with the one hand. 10 meters from the line, and he is still trying to bust his way forward. It's almost going to be called as a rolling maul. Counter ruck coming from Ryan Ustays, and he's a fantastic man, and that's going to be the knock on. And that is the end of this game. 17 points to 5. South Africa 2 losses from 2 in their Olympics campaign. New Zealand 2 from 2 as they head towards their contest up against the Irish tomorrow. New Zealand says Sinisoli there. And we have got their D up boys. Says Big Boy there. And Argentina, France and Ireland. Says a rugby over the top 3 to win. So I think it was France, Argentina, Fiji and New Zealand were the top 4. And then I think it then goes on to Australia, and then I think Ireland were the other team that were relatively up there. The crowd are now piling out of their Stade de France. Like I mentioned, 69,000 in the attendance for this match. That was less than ideal, says Grant. I feel like that's the perfect way of summarising it for the Blitzboks. Unfortunately, just a tough day at the office. 2 losses from 2. They're going to need a massive one tomorrow if they want any chance of qualifying for the quarterfinals. Tough day to be a Blitzboks fan, but still plenty of time and looking good, boys, says David Lim. and South Africa have a steep mountain to climb exactly right in their game up against Japan. It will be taking place tomorrow, and we are going to be covering it on the channel. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for the coverage. See you soon, says Mikkel. And also, awesome crowd says Big Boy Games. But yeah, we will be scheduling the live streams a little bit later on in terms of when they are all going to be taking place. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and, of course, subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for